Right, so they are going into the dial-up, but it was late into it, wasn't it?
Yeah, very late here.
Alinghi out to the right.
Pretty nice for Team New Zealand here. Got nice and tight in that dial-up. And this puts the pressure on Alinghi. They're the windward boat, right-of-way boat. Must keep clear under the rules here. So far, though, this is the first time I've really really pushed this dial-up and really stopped the boat.
If you get a split tack, I think that'd be really good. You don't have to keep going. You can just take the line bias and come back at them, you know?
That was Ray Davies just talking, get the split tack, take the line bias. I'm happy with that. Not sure of the side, but I think he might be saying if you can get a split tack, get out to the right, we'd be happy with that. So far, though, Ed Baird, pretty nice job. Just controlling Team New Zealand. He's almost down to 3 minutes now.
Controlling just being a little further back. That's how he does it, isn't it?
A little further back. Got the starboard tack, remember, too, so Team New Zealand, just enough separation there for Ed Baird just to remain there. This will be interesting. Dean Barker, okay, building speed. Probably look to go for a jibe. So far, Ed Baird here doing a nice job, just controlling, keeping the boat slow, but just enough speed so he's got some steerage on the rudder.
If we can get it.
I thought Dean Barker was going to pull the bow down and move off, but he's still holding it there.
115 to 120 to the high 120s.
Spilling the breeze out of the head sails.
Ray Davies talking about a 115 to 120 they're getting on the wind direction where they are. So if that's 120, that means the committee end of the line will be biased and the boats would like to start there. Getting down here, Team New Zealand still in a little bit of trouble here, PJ. Dean's going to have to look to really try and get out of this dial-up.
The course is set to 115. This dial-up's going on. We've only got 2 minutes now. Boy, they've killed some time, but...
Okay, here we go. Dean Barker looking for the jibe now, so he'll get out of this. Set up for the jibe. He goes straight into attack. The time's so low and they're so close to the pin end. They're now really thinking about final approach to the line. Where they want to be, positioning themselves up. Probably look for Alinghi to dive behind Team New Zealand here, try and set up on the stern of the Kiwi boat. Similar to yesterday, get on the stern of the other boat. They can really be in a controlling position, stopping them from jibing, stopping them from tacking. Still a good 40 seconds to kill to the start, so plenty of time.
So although Alinghi's getting on the stern, are they close enough though to be able to...
Question here is, can Team New Zealand tackle a jibe without risking a penalty? That's the question.
Because they are now down to leeward of the committee boat.
They're in trouble here. Ed Baird's got control. Team New Zealand need to look at something here. Here we go, trying a jibe. Could be penalty here if it's close. Both boats yelling, look at the arms up in the Alinghi. Protest there, PJ. This could be a penalty, Team New Zealand.
Remember, blue is Team New Zealand, yellow is Alinghi. Blue, Team New Zealand, yellow, Alinghi.
Very risky stuff.
Green flag.
Green flag, okay. That's good news for the Kiwis.
Now we're into the final 30 seconds. Now they've really got to hurry. It looks like Alinghi is going to get the right-hand side as they are starting to wind up. So it's Alinghi out to the right. Team New Zealand are getting right up to the line. They do have to kill some time there, though. As we're coming down now to the final 10 seconds. Now it's Team New Zealand winding up. Alinghi a little further back, up by the committee boat. To start race 6 of the 32nd America's Cup, and Alinghi right up by the committee boat. Team New Zealand further down the line.
Yeah, nice job from Dean Barker there to get out of that control. Very, very high-risk stuff.
We hear Kevin Hall saying higher and faster. Boy, that was brilliant by Dean Barker to get out of that, because Ed Baird had him for most of the 5-minute sequence.
Yeah, really, really nice job there. It was looking like it was going to be a repeater yesterday, but just able to get that green flag, which was good. Pull that jibe off, just set the main before the umpires saw Alinghi were fouled, but still though, the thing here is Alinghi got some big separation, PJ, off the start line.
1-2-2 to him.
So that means then that they're just that little further out to the right to escape the disturbed airflow coming off Team New Zealand. Team New Zealand out by a couple of metres. It really is bow to bow. The key issue here is the disturbed airflow of the boat out to the left. Team New Zealand, is it going to affect Alinghi? Jimmy thinks the separation is maybe just a little bit too much.
Looks like Alinghi can hang there. And I know both boats were fighting for the right there. They both thought the right-hand side is a little better. We saw the race committee move the top mark to the right-hand side, set up for the 115. Now I think we're in these 120 wind directions. I think Team New Zealand really going to try and close it up, bring down that separation. I'm just fascinated here at how even the boat speeds are. It's not a lot of Well, that's a good shot there. Look at that. That's the boats definitely closing gauge. Team New Zealand sailing a little higher, a little closer to the wind. And you can see the virtual eye now down to 8 metres.
Boy, they are getting way out to the left-hand touchline as well. This is fascinating and through compelling stuff again in race 6.
This is race chef.
Nice try.
5 metres. Oh, and really the separation now is down a lot.
I think the Kiwis will do this. I think they're just going to be able to force Team Alinghi to tack. Look at that, a lot closer than where they were at the start. Bow forwards, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Alinghi tack.
Here goes Alinghi now. Well predicted, Jimmy, excellent. So Alinghi now tacking away. What is Team New Zealand going to do? Tack with them, or will they persist in going out towards the port lay line, the left-hand touch line?
Probably still got 2-3 minutes to play with, out there. But I wouldn't see them split too much just yet. I think both teams are worried about the right-hand side. I think they just try and get enough separation between them and Alinghi where they feel comfortable, they can set up, sail their boat, and really try and hang in there. This race is very, very close.
So the pendulum now has gone to Team New Zealand, but we should say you lose, 25 metres in attack?
Lose a little,
20.
Lose a little in attack. So it says New Zealand now, but remember, Alinghi has done 1 extra tack.
So it is interesting that Alinghi now is breaking out to the right there on port. Meanwhile, Team New Zealand are holding on to starboard, still persisting to go out to the port lay line, out to the left.
Team New Zealand just tacking there. Happy with the separation. Maybe even got a little lefty there, so Terry Hutchinson telling the guys to stand by and tack over. You can see the virtual line just going back a little bit to Alinghi now.
Already quite.
See how things settle out once they get the boat back up to speed.
Yeah, take it up, Okay, great.
So virtual eye now, the pendulum goes back to Alinghi at around 25 metres.
Literally a little higher than that.
A little higher, that's Murray Jones's voice.
So, Peter, this has become a similar sort of tactic now. We're getting straight line races, certainly for the last 3, hasn't it been? We've seen so few tacks in any of these first legs.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a trial of strength lining up on boat speed. It has been enthralling, really. But there are tactics involved in that, in terms of the separation, trying to get your bow out, as we tried to explain, and also for Team New Zealand to close the separation so they can make sure that the distilled airflow coming off their boat is affecting, or was affecting on the other tack, of course, Alinghi, and Alinghi doing their best to stay free of that. So there's so many things going on here, and in as well, they're thinking ahead, the next 2 or 3 moves ahead. The minds and faces we're looking at the moment are not just concerned with now, they're actually further thinking up the track to the next move.
Here we've got Jeremy Lomas. What he's doing here is he's bringing one of the halyards down from the top of the mast. For this first upwind leg, they mouse the halyards out, so they actually attach a very small line that we saw him pulling down to the halyard, and they pull that up the mast. And it's a gain in 2 areas. One is that you replace a line of 10 mil with a line of 3 or 4 mil to reduce the windage in the mast, and also you're getting more weight down from the mast. You're actually pulling the majority of that big thick 10 mil halyard down into out of the rig, which is again helps the riding moment of the boat. Again, all these tiny little details, something you could never test the performance difference, but it does make you go faster.
So distance to the first mark, we can't be that far away.
You've got a really nice,
being a minute 10 to the port lay line.
Really nice gain for Team New Zealand here. They've got a little left shift. Well, Alinghi's looks to be in a little lighter patch, and big gains here for Team New Zealand.
So just over a kilometre to the first mark. This has been an excellent leg for Emirates Team New Zealand. Remember, they had port entry to the start box. Ian Barker took a bit of a risk, but he managed to get out of the grips of Ian Baird and started with speed. And the two of them have just dragged their way up towards the port lay line. Only one tack all the way up there.
Yeah, this is a really significant phase in the match right now. This last couple of minutes, there's been a split in the breezes. Alinghi has been in a lighter right-hand shift, while Team New Zealand still kept pretty good pressure, and they're in the lefty. And we've seen them go from 10 metres behind to 30 metres ahead. And they've opened the separation up from 300 metres. Look at the distance here between the two boats has opened up. This has been a huge gain for Team New Zealand right at this time. They've gone from 300 metres to 370 metres. And right now, if Alinghi tacked, they probably wouldn't be able to get to Team New Zealand. Team New Zealand would be able to cross in front of them. So
be advised, there's a race committee vessel in the vicinity of the windward mark displaying flag Charlie, change of course. The course to the gate will be 290. The marks will be yellow.
Big lefty up the track, and look at the lead that Team New Zealand have got now. From what was a little, 5 metres here, 5 metres there, to all of a sudden left shift, 15 degrees, and Team New Zealand suddenly with a 3-boat length lead.
So this is fascinating, a completely new dimension today. Yes, it is the sea breeze for only the second day in the 32nd America's Cup, but it is about 10 or 11 knots in contrast to 15 to 19 knots yesterday. Been a trial of strength, but Team New Zealand have backed their hunch, and they're up to the left, and they're extending. That's the key point. We're wondering, was it the weather team that made the call, or was it just simply, as you predicted, Jimmy, before, that because so much was changing, the afterguard have actually got to go back to the way they were brought up sailing, get their head out of the boat, because the fundamental rules these kids are taught, as kids they were taught in Optimus and then into lasers, still apply on these big beasts.
That's right. I mean, look, you only get the weather information 5 minutes to the start. The weather guys make their call. Sometimes they'll say, hey, look, we're not too sure ourselves. Go with what you see. And I think that's what happened. Team New Zealand obviously came off the start line, probably saw a little out the left, knew they had to get rid of Alinghi, had to close down the separation, had to force them to tack. And in doing so, I've really extended out again. And look, here we see another little gain up to 80 metres, just in splitting out to the left-hand side here.
Well, I think it's important to emphasise also that sailors on these two boats and all of the Louis Vuitton Regatta are not just robots. having their strings pulled by the weathermen ashore. These people are brilliant sailors with wonderful backgrounds and can think for themselves. And today, the Aftergarden Team New Zealand have been doing that as they come to mark number 1 in race 6 of the 32nd America's Cup. And after the heartbreaking disappointment of yesterday, Team New Zealand really have bounced back. They are leading at mark 1 as the Louis Vuitton clock is ticking against defender Alinghi. So here comes the set from Team New Zealand, and it ticks off at 4 seconds. So a very productive final stage of leg number 1 to Team New Zealand, who are leading over Alinghi, going into leg number 2 of race. Team New Zealand's lead now is down to just over 60 metres. Remember, it was close to 100. I mean, the important thing to emphasise here is just where the breeze. I mean, when you're talking, what did you say, 115 to 125? That's 10 degrees. That's a wide span, really, isn't it? Compared to the 3-4 degree span, 5 degree maybe going upwind, Jimmy. So, hell, anything can happen downhill.
Yeah, big gains and losses downwind, and you'll see it go back and forwards a little. You saw 100 metres to the Kiwis at the top. Now Alinghi coming back, closing it down a little. It's, you know, obviously the boat behind benefits from receiving the wind first before the lead boat, the opposite of upwind. Upwind, the lead boat gets the breeze first. Now, PJ, what I'm seeing here is Alinghi going forwards here. I think Team New Zealand are very, very close to having their wind blanketed by Alinghi. So once again, boat speed team on full alert here, really trying to keep that air clear, keep the bow forward of Alinghi so they've got the fresh air coming onto the sails.
Righto, Jimmy, get ready to give an aerial, another sailing lesson when we get a wide aerial shot, and then you'll be able to explain what Alinghi's trying to do and the position they're almost in to be able to put their airflow down.
Behind us here, they've got 2 lengths. They're just as good on the other drive.
Now that voice is Murray Jones. Now here's a good. Now we can see, and Dave Snackenberg might be able to get his virtual eye just where the distilled airflow is coming off Alinghi.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
And what effect? Alinghi is trying to do. Now here comes a jibe from Alinghi as they're starting to make things happen. They definitely have made some inroads. Maybe 20 metres, could be 30. And it's down to just over 50 metres now.
One Sport live and exclusive with this America's Cup coverage of race 6. The margin has gone out to over 100 metres, back to about 90. And while you've been away, Ray Davies has been very positive over the last couple of minutes, talking about good pressure. I like this here, Terry. But still, this margin's, there's not much in it. Now, let's have a look at where they are on the course and the angle they've taken from mark number 1, Ben.
Yeah, this has been a very good run for Team New Zealand. They've just held their lead very comfortably, doing all the safe options tactically, and the last jibe on starboard, they had very good pressure, and they've been looking faster the whole way down. I've been watching the VMG figures, and consistently faster to Team New Zealand because they've been in good pressure the whole way. They've pretty much paid it perfectly right now.
So it's encouraging news from Ben Morrison-Jack, who's working with the virtual eye. And Team New Zealand, this time yesterday, you'll recall that they had been in a position of being in front at 12 seconds at the first mark. Today it's 14, but then they had that horror of 4 minutes which saw the lead change hands. But right now, you see the VMG there, but showing Switzerland slightly faster. But the margin is still around about 80 metres. Been a good run for Emirates Team New Zealand. Cameron, they're looking in top shape at the moment, but just see that margin. It's not stretching out at all, is it?
No, it's not stretching out. And the important part here is that they're in the perfect position, perfect match racing leading position right now. They're ahead and to leeward of the Alinghi's line. They can match If Alinghi jibe, they could easily jibe simultaneously and still have their clear wind on the other jibe. They can do whatever they want, which is perfect positioning here by Dean Barker and the crew.
And Team New Zealand will choose what side they think is going to suit them best. Jimmy and I are tending to think maybe the breeze is going back more to the right. Anyway, more on that later once they get round the mark.
Alinghi here may even follow Team New Zealand into the same mark.
Team New Zealand spike their chute. Down comes the Jenica.
It's going to be a split, PJ.
Mark 2. Race 6, and it's split marks here at the end of the first lap. And it's down to 11 seconds. So Alinghi has made a gain of 3. It was 14 seconds at Mark 1. It's 11 seconds. And we'll get Jimmy to expand on it. Team New Zealand has gone out to the left, going back up the course, and meanwhile it is now Alinghi that has gone out to the right. Interesting that Team New Zealand have decided they had what option they wanted to, because we were asking Rich Reichelsdorfer, our skipper here on North Star, what the latest readings were from the top of the mark, and what Rich told us was indicating maybe that the breeze is swinging back to the right a little bit. And Ben and Dave will be able to help you with that with graphics from the boys further up on the course, and they'll be able to tell you that as well. Team New Zealand, meanwhile, have tacked. They're on port as well. So both boats now are breaking right, and it is Team New Zealand with an advantage of just over 40 metres. And interesting to see now that it's 125, 117, 112. All right, so Jimmy, what do you make of it in terms of what side may be favoured, what side's best?
Still very tricky, and if you look, a 105 to a 125, that's 20 degrees of shift. So this is going to be a real minefield for the tacticians and the strategists try and work their way up the track. Great call by Adam Bichel at the bottom of the course there. Nice, 35-minute gain here. Very, very nice. We saw a shot before of Richard Meacham down below in the sewer of the boat, packing the sail. That's a sail they're probably thinking they may use again for the run. So the mid-bow will go below, start packing it. This is on board Alinghi, same deal. We've got the white spinnaker there. Curtis Blue will be down there packing the sail, getting it ready just in case they need it for the run. If the conditions stay like this, both boats will probably use very similar sails.
Jimmy, the separation's gone from 400 to 480.
Yeah, very nice here. Team New Zealand just continuing to gain, or as we say, the rich getting richer in this situation. A little bit more pressure, a little bit more shift. Alinghi, not a lot they can do. They've got as much separation as I think they'll get. Probably hanging it out on the right-hand side, just trying to get a little bit of a shift back to the right to get into the race. But so far since the gate, it's gone all Team New Zealand's way.
Well, we did see separation of close to 500 metres. And Alinghi were happy to hold that for a while, clearly looking for some advantage out there. But now, as Cameron has said, they're on their way back to close the gauge, 150 metres. They tack back. We'll see Team New Zealand's reaction to this. How long will they wait to tack in front of them?
Now, it's definitely been a gain here for Alinghi. They've gained a lot as they've come back in. They seem they're in a bit of a right-hand shift. So Team New Zealand is going for a nice, tight to leeward lee bow, and Alinghi will have to tack away immediately here. So that was a pretty nice gain
they'll
for
be heartened
Alinghi.
by that.
Now the interesting choices now are made in the tactics. How long does Team New Zealand allow them to speed build and come back? How long does Alinghi go? I can't imagine Alinghi going to go too far here. They're probably going to just get up to speed and tack back again because they know they're getting close to being out on that ley line. Yep, and here we go, Alinghi tacking and Team New Zealand tacking. So we've got Alinghi trying to make gains in the right, but also trying not to get forced out of the right-hand corner. And Team New Zealand, again, trying to make gains in the left, but also trying to bounce Alinghi out to that right-hand corner as quickly as they can, because the earlier they can get Alinghi out there, the bigger gain they can make coming to the top mark.
Well,
this has been a bit more of a gain from Alinghi here.
Yeah.
Looks
Yes, it does. Well, we saw that big separation. We saw at the mark rounding, the second mark rounding, that they decided to attack different gates. Let's just review this leg. Well, hang on, we might just wait a moment and see what happens with this situation here. Emirates Team New Zealand going to attack right in front of Alinghi, but my word, that advantage is closing all the time. There's no room for error here. We'll go back now to the mark rounding and Ben to work us through this with Virtual Eye.
Yeah, they both chose different marks here, with Alinghi heading out to the right of the course, and it was probably easy to see with the guys up the rig that there might have been a little right-hand shift, but so New Zealand followed Alinghi out to the right, and initially they got quite a good little, maybe a 5-degree shift, which is why we saw the lateral separation increase for quite a while, and that was all good for Team New Zealand. But then slowly the breeze has clicked back to the right a little, and Brad Butterworth been very patient in waiting for the shift, and when it came, he chose to tack back, and that's why he's able to have closed the gauge a little, because the wind has gone right by about 3 or 4 degrees, so it's all on now.
Certainly all on. Back with live pictures now as we see that great shot of Emirates Team New Zealand, and they are very, very anxious at the moment. I would say 19 metres. Alinghi probably just sensing that this is an opportunity. They've closed up nicely.
Yeah, this is Team New Zealand have got to be able to tack in a position tight enough to Alinghi where Alinghi keeps on having to tack away. And we've seen in the past that Team New Zealand have been very strong in their tacking, but this breeze has just clicked a little bit right. Maybe there's a little bit of pressure in the right, and Alinghi have actually made a gain and now managed to separate off to windward of Team New Zealand, and 26 metres ahead. The key part of that's not so important right now. The key, this is just like off the start line. The key is for if Team New Zealand can get up to Alinghi a little bit and force them to tack away again. If they can do that, then Team New Zealand will still be strong.
So Alinghi leading in to the top mark.
There is to be a big reason for us to join, right? Jobs are expensive. How far to go?
Team New Zealand following in. So you can see they're not only working on getting the rest of this beat done, but thinking ahead and what they're going to do with their hoist. Mark 3, race 6. And Alinghi lead round Mark 3. The clock is ticking and it stops at 16. So from minus 16, 11 to plus 16, it is Alinghi leading. Team New Zealand is close enough to do some damage there. It's under 70 metres now. Team New Zealand are closing in. They really are closing in this light air. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. Team New Zealand really are getting closer.
I think it's all about the jibing, PJ. Here we go again. Outside jibe. Alinghi. That sail just doesn't have enough pressure to get around. They're really having to work it around. It's just not as smooth. You know, the flow takes a little longer to attach.
We're inside 60 metres. Team New Zealand are making huge inroads. Are they going to be close enough, though, to be able to shadow and get on the top of Alinghi? Dave and Ben will be able to give us a handle in terms of the distilled air flow. Team New Zealand really are closing down. They're inside to 25 metres. Oh.
Yep, this will be all on down here, PJ.
This is just sensational. Already, this America's Cup, the 32nd edition, is the most competitive apart from 1983. win the Cup left after 132 years. Team New Zealand have got down to 30 metres. What can they do now to advance another boat length to get right up there?
Now, key moment next time for me is going to be this jibe, PJ. Now, we've been talking about it all along down this run, how Team New Zealand doing the inside jibes and gaining. Now, I've got them in a position here on this next jibe to really make a gain, and I think it's going to be... I think Alinghi has to change to inside jibing if they want to match. Otherwise, I think the Kiwis have got a real chance of making a pass before
Why and how? Explain. Take the folks with you. Folks across New Zealand are hanging on your words, Jimmy. Explain. Expand.
Okay, outside jibe, like we've talked about, back of the sail has to blow all the way around the luff. Now, this is fine in 11, 12 knots and up. As soon as you get under 10 knots, you start inside jibing. Back of the sail goes inside. Here's an example. Look, back of the sail coming behind the spinnaker. There it goes there, instead of in front of the spinnaker like Alinghi is doing. Now, that is a lot smoother, a lot faster when you get down to 7, 8 knots. Let's see what Alinghi does here. Will they extend out? Now, the other thing that comes into play, PJ, is the times and the geometry and the course. How much room have Team New Zealand got on port there to the left-hand side? Alinghi now electing to... Thinking about a jibe, no. Pete Van Nieuwenhausen comes back off the bow. Alinghi like the pressure.
900 metres, inside 800. We're down to 800 metres now. 780 metres to the finish.
Okay, Alinghi setting up for a jibe, I think. Here we go, outside jibe on Alinghi. So the back of the sail this time blowing around the front. Definitely a little slower doing that, but have Alinghi got a little bit more pressure by holding on that left-hand side of the course. They've really protected it down the run. We heard Murray Jones talk about he likes the left.
500 metres to the finish now.
It's actually a little surprised Team New Zealand jibe back there. I thought they might have waited, really tried to match them, and looks like they may have lost some here by doing that.
Well, it was down to 25, regularly inside 50 metres, but now it's gone back over 100 metres. And in this race, that's a mile. That's very comfortable.
I was a little surprised, PJ, that the Kiwis got back there. I thought they were in a fantastic opportunity to just hang in there, wait a little longer, and then trying to use that jibe technique they've got to their advantage. Now this is really giving Alinghi a nice little cushion, and I'm sure they're breathing a little easier now. Very close to ley line now. The opportunity's running out big time here.
We'll be inside the final 500 metres. And compared to what we've seen for most of the day, Alinghi have got a cushion of a huge distance of 100 metres. This has been a magnificent boat race, like the others. It's 400 metres to the finish. And Alinghi are looking comfortable now. And Team New Zealand are running out of distance. Inside 300 metres now. after a compelling race for the memories, taking this America's Cup to among the most competitive in 157 years, where Team New Zealand led for the first two legs and looked commanding and early in leg 3. Alinghi were patient and benefited from a favourable shift to pass Team New Zealand and lead at Mark 3 and then defend on the final run home. Alinghi beat Team New Zealand and go to match point in the 32nd America's Cup. It's Alinghi 4, Team New Zealand 2. The defender now needs just one more win to retain the America's Cup and keep it in Europe. Team New Zealand need 3. What a stunning race. And Team New Zealand, for the second day in succession, will reflect on what might have been, but for different reasons.
Yeah, what a tough race for the Kiwis. Did everything right. Controlled off the start line. Got out of it. Almost got a penalty. Dean Barker took a bit of risk, but it worked. They got out to the left-hand side and led in the first 2 legs of the race.
Jimmy, 28 seconds really doesn't do the race justice, how competitive it was, how the fortunes fluctuated and changed, how difficult it was for the afterguards, how exciting and pulsating it was.
Yeah, I mean, what a race. I mean, it's just been a fantastic series. We just have not seen this. Didn't see it in the semi-finals. Didn't see it in the finals, I can personally tell you that. And now we're just seeing so many lead changes, so many opportunities out on the racetrack. The boats definitely seem quite even, but look, it's not over yet. No doubt Team New Zealand will go back, talk about today, good and the bad. Tomorrow it's a must-win, PJ.